Hong Kong's known as one of the toughest environments for any jockey to make it in the riding ranks. But one jockey who's hoping to make his presence felt here is our special guest on today's show. And that person, of course, is Callan Murray, multiple Group 1 winning jockey from South Africa, who's here for his second stint in Hong Kong and joins us on the back of riding his first winner last Sunday. Callan, thank you for joining us here in the studio. Might have been a little longer than what you hoped to wait to get that first winner, but would have been nice to cross the post first on top ace last Sunday.
It was certainly a weight off my shoulders, so really nice to get the first one on the board, and hopefully they continue from here.
Let's just have a look at the race and you can talk us through it. Might have been a Class 5, but still great to get this first winner and get the monkey off the back, so to speak. You're coming wide with your run on the turn, but you built into it from the 800-metre mark. What was your sort of plan coming into the race with him?
Oh, look, he had a wide draw. I was going to be mid to back of the field, and they started to just slow the pace down, and I just wanted to keep his rhythm going. So opted to come a bit wide, but he seemed to quicken well to the line, which is what he hasn't been doing. So definitely a win, sort of full of merit, and hopefully he can keep it going from here.
This was his first win ever in Hong Kong, but he had come down a long way in the ratings. Coming into the race, what were your confidence levels like with him?
Look, his work had been good. He looked pretty competitive coming into the race. It was just a matter of whether he was going to put it in. So I was just waiting on that and hoping for that, and he did it.
And crossing the line, first winner in Hong Kong this stint. What were the emotions like for you there?
Oh, I was so happy just to get one on the boards. It's really nice to ride winners here, huge crowds. It's just, even if it's a Class 5, it feels a lot bigger.
Looking at that man right next to you on screen there, Tony Mirard, he's been a good supporter of yours, hasn't he, in your time here in Hong Kong?
I've been very fortunate to have his support. Obviously, he's doing really well this season, and he's obviously a trainer that's very competitive here. So I'm really grateful for his support, and he was able to help me last season and, well, the last time I was here and this time, so I'm very grateful.
Has it been a little bit on the frustrating side of things the last few months? Has it been testing, the hip surgery that you had, the broken nose the first day, the suspension, a while to get that first winner? Has that tested you a bit?
Look, it has tested me, but I'm very fortunate that I was able to get through it with a positive mind, and just got to keep it going from here. You know, it doesn't stop here. Every win could be your loss, so just make sure they keep going on.
You mentioned before, too, that Tony Murray was a good supporter of yours in your first stint here in Hong Kong. You came for the last couple of months for the season, in the 2016-2017 season. What did you gain out of that stint?
I think it goes without saying that any jockey that comes here learns so much. But yeah, I just gained a lot of experience meeting the trainers, chatting to them, some owners, and also riding in Hong Kong. It's very competitive, tough, tricky. To keep your rides isn't easy, so learnt a lot from that, and I'm just trying to put it to work this time. 4
winners in that first stint, 2 at Group 3 level. I guess the most famous was Horse of Fortune, winning that day the Group 3 over 1,800 metres. It's also become known as the day the Pakistan star stopped in that race that you won. What are your memories like of that day?
Oh, that was a crazy day. I remember looking through my legs and I didn't know where Joe was. I knew he was a horse to beat. Came in the straight and I actually couldn't find a run in with only 3 or 4 horses in front of me, but got a nice run down the inside. He quickened well, and I remember at the pull-up hearing the crowd erupt, which was quite odd, and then I only realised later that Pakistan Star had stopped.
To get the 2 Group 3 winners here, what did that mean to you as well, to you in your first stint in Hong Kong and coming so soon as well in your time here?
Yeah, look, it was amazing. It's really nice to win an international group race, especially in Hong Kong, and I was very fortunate to be able to do so on 2 occasions. It really means a lot to me, and it would be nice to go 1 up or 2 up on that.
Absolutely. Plenty of time to do so as well this time around too. In that first stint, after you won your first race here on Master Viking, you said that you'd like to stay for the following season. As things worked out, you didn't. You went back to South Africa. Why did you make that decision to go back home?
It was a tricky decision. I don't know if I was quite ready mentally to be here. You know, it takes a lot of dedication. And also you just have to be in the right state of mind, and I think I just needed to go home to settle down. I was only 4 months out of my apprenticeship, so you know, I just had to get everything sorted back at home and make sure I was ready to be here, because you got to be on your best to be competitive here.
So over 12 months on from that first stint, do you feel like you are more prepared mentally for the demands of Hong Kong racing?
Definitely am. Unfortunately, I had a physical setback, but that's sort of come into hand with the physio and training to get fit again.
Let's look back at your career overall. I think you enrolled in the South African Jockeys Academy in 2013. Only 5 years ago. It's not a long time ago in the grand scheme of things. Do you sort of look back and think, geez, I've come a long way in a fairly short space of time?
Yeah, it's crazy. Just the other day I was entering the academy, never sat on a horse, and all of a sudden I'm in Hong Kong. You know, it's quite amazing and it's happened really quick.
How did you decide in the first place that you wanted to become a jockey? Because unlike a lot of riders or people involved in racing, you don't come from a racing family, do you?
Yeah, I knew nothing about horses or anything like that, and a family friend was a steward and he just suggested I tried, and I applied in October, and by January I was in the boarding school for the next 5 years.
And what do you get from that experience in the boarding school and in the Jockeys Academy? Because we've seen Douglas White, Karis Teeton, who are here, and before them, Barty Leisha, Robbie Fradd, those sort of top South African jockeys, Basil Marcus, who've done so well over the years here in Hong Kong. What is it about that training that sets you up for the future?
I think the South African Jockey Academy offers a great grounding. It's because you live there, you live on the grounds, you're not really allowed to go out, so it's really hard work and hard training. I think it gets you into a very hard working mode, and obviously helps you to be like that throughout your career, which is very important. You've got to sort of eat, sleep and breathe racing if you want to be successful.
I mentioned a few of those South African jockeys that have come here and done really well. Are there any one of those that you've particularly looked up to or moulded yourself on, anything like that?
Oh, when I was younger, I moulded myself more towards Anton Marcus, who also rode here for a bit. And yeah, all of them are great role models, but particularly Anton.
Every jockey is a day, a race, a moment that really looks to stand out in their career. For you, the 6th of May 2017 at Turffontein, 3 Grade 1 winners, 2 of those for Mike de Kock. Where does that stand in your career that day?
It has to be number 1. It was an outstanding day. I went to races with 4 rides in the group, well, with 6 rides, 4 in the Group 1s. The 1 ran second and the other 3 won, which was really amazing. It was an absolute thrill of a day. Didn't expect it to be so good, and yeah, it was just an absolute thrill.
So that's your time in South Africa, but you're here now in Hong Kong. You're licensed until February. What are the goals for you from now until then? Would you like to be a regular part of the racing scene here?
That's without a doubt my goal. I've definitely come here with the plan to try and stay. Obviously, that comes with some success. Just going to work hard to make sure that I'm competitive enough here for them to be able to renew my contract, because I really love Hong Kong, I love the racing here, and I'd love to stay.
How is the racing and the riding different from South Africa here?
It's obviously a high-pressure environment, and it's really competitive, fast paces. You've got to be on top of your handicapping and, you know, studying your form before the races too, so you can get on the right rides. So I think that's the most important thing, which is really different to back home.
Let's look at your rides for Saturday. We race on Saturday this weekend. 6 rides for yourself. One that interests me, Sunshine Universe. You've had a lot to do with the horse. He's having his first run for the new stable, the Richard Gibson stable. You've done a lot of work with him in the mornings. How do you think he's going?
Yeah, I have done a lot of work on him. He seemed to improve since I first got on his back. His most recent trial was really good, I thought. So I think he's made a lot of improvement, and he's the type of horse that could be competitive.
Of your 6 rides, would you say that he's probably one of your better chances?
Yeah, he's definitely one of the standouts.
And we're really getting into the swing of things with the big races here in Hong Kong. 2 Group 2s next week. Have you got the ride on Werther, I believe, in the Sha Tin Trophy?
Yeah, I've fortunately got the ride, thanks to Mr. Moore. Obviously, it'll be really a huge thrill to be able to sit on a horse like that's back.
OK, so that's it for my questions for you, Callan, but there's a few other people who've got some questions they've fired through Twitter, and we'll start off with Hutchie's Honkers. How do you deal with the pressure in Hong Kong and knowing that your mounts carry millions of dollars of bet from people all around the world? Is it different to the sort of pressure you've dealt with before?
It certainly is different, but I sort of seem to take it like any other race. If you let it get to you, I don't think you'd ride the same. But obviously, a lot of people are relying on you to perform, so you just got to try your best at all times.
Thanks to Hutchie's Honkers for that one. We'll go on to the next one, which comes from Adam Campton. What would you be doing if you weren't a jockey, and who's the best horse that you've ridden?
If I wasn't a jockey, I have no idea. I wanted to be an architect, so probably that, studying to do that. And the best horse I've ridden would be a horse called Mr. Queen.
OK, you won one of those grade ones on him, didn't you, that day?
Yeah, I did.
Absolutely. All right. Good stuff there. Thank you to Adam for that. And finally, a weighing room colleague of yours, Zach Purton. Do you pay for your haircuts?
No, half price, just gets the sides done.
All right, let me know where you go to. I wouldn't mind a half-price haircut there. Zach doesn't mind a bit of the banter. What is, in all seriousness, what is the atmosphere like in the weighing room on race day here in Hong Kong?
It's probably less tense than you would think. You know, if you have someone tight in a race or someone has you tight, it gets a bit more tense. But generally, we're quite friendly, joke around, but everyone's focused on the job at hand.
All right, well, Callan, we really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat to us about your career. All the best, not only for Saturday, but the rest of the season. We look forward to seeing many more winners for you over the next few months.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Callan Murray for joining us on this edition of HK Direct. If you want to see how he gets on with these 6 rides on Saturday, you can tune into Trackside. First race is at 1 o'clock. The Trackside live coverage commences at 12:30. We've got 2 trophy races, including the Chinese General Chamber of Commerce Cup, plus a couple of really good Class 2 races to look forward to. As always, more information can be found through the website and also through Twitter. But that's it for the show today. Andrew Lejeune will be with you next Friday looking at a massive day of racing coming up in Hong Kong. But until then, that's it for us on HK Direct.